We kick things off in serious fashion as a dragon-type monster seems to be attacking a little girl. That's when we meet our hero, the paladin known as Alex. He brings out his shield and is able to block the dragon's attack, after which he tells his teammate Roland it's time to go full power. Roland does not seem to like getting instructions from the designated shield, but he goes ahead and slashes the dragon down, showcasing his commendable strength. He seems to be the chosen hero, although he could just be another Zekt and Alex could be like the Mommy Master series. Roland says that the beast wasn't even that big of a deal because it wasn't that big. Now, the little girl rushes to Alex and she is the mage, Ellie. She is amazed that Alex was able to block such a big monster all by himself, but he says this is just his job. Ellie shows us all a scary face and tells Alex he should not be so humble. She wants him to know that he is amazing, but this seems to rub Roland the wrong way. Our hero says that they need to submit a report of this fight to the guild, and Ellie says they should grab lunch after that. Alex is fine with that, but Roland has something to tell him at the inn before that. Alex meets him there and is told that he does not have many attack skills, which makes him unworthy of being in an S-rank party like Roland's. Thus, he tells Alex that he should leave, which is not too different from Ceres and his mommy story. Alex does not understand the logic behind this, so he tells Roland he's lying. However, the jealous fake hero tells our real hero that he is too slow and can't even avoid enemy attacks. Even when it comes to his attack skills, Alex only has holy attributes, which means he's not flexible enough to exploit the enemy's weaknesses. Roland then calls Alex a burden as he is just a paladin, which basically means he is the party's shield. Our hero says that this is exactly what his job is supposed to be. He is meant to attract the enemy's attacks so that he can create an opening for the others. Despite this, Roland tells Alex that he sucks and his party is better off attacking the enemy before getting hit. Even if they do get hurt, they can just have the priest heal them, so he once again says that a tank like Alex is not needed. Our hero says that he has other uses as well, but more importantly, he wants to know what Ellie has to say in all this. Roland smiles and says that Ellie has readily agreed with him, although this does seem sus. Roland also says that he and Ellie have been getting shady with each other for a while, but this too seems like a sus lie. Alex can't believe what he is hearing, and Roland tells him he was annoying right from the beginning. Turns out that these two were childhood friends too, but clearly Roland does not care about that. Alex is still shocked that this was how his own party was thinking about him, but Roland says that he has made a decision as the party leader that they do not need a tank anymore. He says the others have also agreed, even though the men of culture at Comic Guzzlers know it's a lie. Alex says that if everyone feels this way, then he'll leave, but he also tells Roland that he has warned him about being without a tank. The fake hero does not care, and simply tells him to get out. Our hero makes his exit, but runs into Ellie on the way. She is surprised to see him leaving and asks about their lunch date, but Alex can only think about what Roland told him. He tells Ellie that he has been disposed, and bids her farewell. This comes as a shock to the mage girl, which basically confirms that Roland is a salty loser who lied to Alex. It's too late now, as we see Alex already out in the streets. He still can't believe that his childhood friends are dating each other, but he obviously doesn't know the truth either. Anyway, he believes that if he were to join another party, then he could end up making the same mistake. It would be very tiring for our hero, so he figures it's best to go solo. He tells a guild girl about this, and she is shocked that even Ellie is not there with him. The girl still can't believe it because she thought that Alex and Ellie were an item. Anyway, she doesn't want to dive too deep into the rabbit hole, so she says the guild supports Alex's new journey. Her name is revealed to be Tabitha, and she will be Alex's new guide. He is asked what kind of job he would like, so he thinks about how he's only been battling till now. Alex wishes to relax now, so he asks if there is any job where he is not required to engage much with people. Tabitha is a bit surprised to hear this, so she thinks of something and comes up with a certain idea. She tells Alex that there is a vast expanse of land that he can freely explore on his own. The reward for this is becoming the owner of this land, which is a big deal. Tabitha seems more excited than Alex about it, who believes there is some shady element involved. Tabitha asks him if he does not trust her word, but he says this just sounds too good to be true. Tabitha then explains that the guild did try developing the land, but anyone they sent there would end up running away for some reason. Alex correctly assumes that a monster must have shown up there, so the guild girl tells him that he won't have an issue against it because he's an S-rank adventurer. Tabitha teases our hero, asking him if he would like to take this up, and he thinks about how claiming your own land almost always ends with monsters attacking you. Considering someone like Alex is needed to get the land, he assumes that the client for this is the current landowner. This is a long and tiring job, but it's exactly up his alley as he is a tank. Whether it's protecting the surrounding villages or anything else, this is something that Alex is fine with, so he accepts the job. He asks if the place is too far from here, but Tabitha is busy celebrating the fact that someone has finally taken the job. She reveals that the place is a bit far, but the guild has prepared a teleportation spell for that. On that note, Alex is taken to the inside of what looks like a dungeon room, and Tabitha explains that it isn't really used that often. She warns our hero not to go so far in just yet, as the magic circle on the floor is a spell that will be used. It's basically the teleportation circle, and Tabitha says that it will get activated once Alex is ready. Our hero was born ready, so he says he doesn't mind going now. Tabitha is a bit shocked, but she's fine with it, so she asks Alex to go step on the magic circle. She promises to transfer food and some other items later, after which we see the teleportation spell taking effect. What follows is a massive flash of light that's so blinding, even the Weeknd would write a song about it. Alex opens his eyes now, and notices that he is not in some open land, but rather inside a hut. After looking around, he can sense that the farmers have indeed fled from here, so he decides to step out and check for more clues. Suddenly, Alex can feel a presence, and immediately brings out his sword. There's a massive attack that's launched on him, but our hero is able to defend himself. This is when the monster shows up and laughs at Alex. It looks like some kind of bird beast, and he is excited to see more humans coming his way. Alex prepares for a hectic fight, and then he goes toe-to-toe with the bird beast. The monster seems to hope for our hero to at least have some guts, and the fight rages on for a while. The bird beast is shocked to see how well Alex is keeping up with him, because he believes that our hero is just a coward who can defend. This was clearly the wrong thing to say to Alex, because this reminds him of what Roland had said earlier. He is now ready to give his opponent a taste of his mind and his sword, so he unleashes his Holy Cross attack. The bird beast has no idea what's happening, and he won't be able to think ever again, as he gets completely demolished by the Holy Cross attack. This creature seems to be a servant of the devil Mammon, but it makes no difference as he disintegrates into the air. Alex can chill for now, but then he hears a voice calling out to him. The voice is impressed by what our hero was able to accomplish, so it decides to give him some extra skills. The main skill in question is the slave release skill, which by its name sounds very much within the scope of a Comic Guzzler's video. Of course, Alex has never heard of such a skill before, but the voice tells him that this skill allows him to free slaves and have them fight by his side. The only catch is that he can use it once every 7 days, just like salarymen can only look forward to one Sunday every week. The voice begs Alex to protect those who have been liberated, and it seems to be the same voice he had heard when he became a tank. Alex realizes that somewhere in the world, someone is suffering as a slave, and he now has the power to free them. Our hero gets to work right away, and he uses his slave release skill. Suddenly, an elf slave girl shows up because of course we only choose authors who are men of culture. The slave girl takes a look at Alex and asks him if he is her new master. Our hero is way too shocked himself to say anything instantly. Now, for some reason, Alex gives us a quick recap in Hunter x Hunter style, although his story has only had one chapter so far. He did not expect to see an elf slave girl because he thought his powers were for noble causes. He can't change the fact that this elf girl is now his slave, and she considers him to be her new master. After checking the chain and the slave mark on her, Alex can confirm that his slave release skill does indeed work. He is in disbelief, so he just stands there. But the elf girl notices his sword, so she begs him for forgiveness as she does not want to be cut down. Our hero feels bad about this, so he puts his sword aside and apologizes to the slave girl for startling her. He also tells her she does not need to worry anymore, because she is no longer a slave. She does not get what he means, so he explains how he used his slave release skill to liberate her. He even provides her with proof, as the slave collar on her neck starts to crack slowly, and eventually gets destroyed. The elf girl is shocked to see that she has indeed been freed from slavery. But this is not all. The slave crest on her curvy body starts to glow as well, and she can feel it. The elf girl gets into a rather alluring pose, looking super fine, but she says that her stomach is feeling very hot. Alex asks her if she is okay, to which she says it should be all right. After some time, the slave crest completely disappears from her body, and this makes her extremely happy. She looks at our hero and smiles, as she is now a free girl. Alex is glad as well, and he tells the elf girl she can do as she pleases now. She gives him a very sweet smile that would make anyone simp for her. Our hero is a Giga Chad though, so he is not so easy to capture. He properly introduces himself as a paladin, and the elf girl reveals her name to be Lydia. She seems to be surprised that her savior is a tank, because the paladin class is supposed to be really rare. Now, we learn that in this world, you are awarded your class on your 15th birthday. Since Alex was an expert in defense, he was given the Holy Knight class of paladin. His childhood friend Roland, who is nothing more than a snake, was weirdly given the class of a hero, which does not make sense as per his character. Anyway, Roland was given the task to take down the Demon King, and Ellie was given the class of mage. She too is Alex's childhood friend, and our hero had sworn to protect Ellie, but that can't be helped now because of Roland's small elephant energy. After all, a fired employee can't work with his colleagues anymore. Moving on from that, Alex asks Lydia about her own class, to which she reveals that she is a shaman. These people are also called spirit users, which means Lydia has summoning powers. Our hero is interested to know more about shaman class because he has never seen one before. He asks Ellie what kind of magic she can use, so she asks him if he is really interested in seeing it. He says yes, but the elf girl takes it as a sign that Alex is actually interested in her. She's happy to hear this, and honestly speaking, any man of culture would be interested in a babe like her. Alex is not sure what she means by this, but anyway, Lydia decides to go outside to show him her powers. Our hero comes back to his senses and says that even he needs to see what the scene is outside this hut. This means that he was busy with intrusive thoughts just before now. Alex asks Lydia to show him her proper magic outside, and the elf girl gets excited to hear this. She runs out of the hut with a lot of energy, but before she can use any of her magic, she has a very important question for Alex. Lydia wants to know where exactly in the name of God are they currently located. This is a fair question because as our hero looks out of the hut, he can see that they are in the middle of nowhere, with nothing more than dry land in front of them. Alex is in total shock, and he can't believe that Tabitha wanted him to take control of this land. Lydia also can't believe it, because this wilderness clearly is in no condition to be developed. She asks Alex if support will come their way, but he says that he was not told anything about people coming to help him. Of course, some light household items will be sent here, but that's about it. Obviously, our hero did not expect to be given this much land, and he does not even know what kind of farm tools he would need to cultivate it. Alex laments that he won't be able to explore this place on his own, as there is nothing exciting about it. Hearing this makes Lydia's elf ears twitch, so she volunteers to help out her savior. She also knows that it would be impossible to develop so much land alone, so she is here for assistance. Alex is a bit confused because Lydia has just been freed as a slave, so why would she want to help him? After all, she can go back home and lead a happy life, but there's a big problem with that. Lydia doesn't even know where she is, so she doesn't know where her home is either. This is an awkward situation, so Alex figures he should have thought before he spoke. Now that Lydia has decided to help her savior, she activates her powers and brings out some light. The ground begins to shake, which makes Alex super impressed by the shaman girl's powers. Now, Lydia uses a skill known as the breath of the earth, and with that, she grows a tree almost instantly. Alex is in shock as he would never have expected to see such magic. Now, the elf girl explains that shaman users can call upon the power of spirits to create life. She can also manipulate the earth, which makes her powers really handy regardless of whoever is with her. Now, Lydia asks Alex if he thinks she can be of help to him now, to which he says yes. However, he is uncomfortable about something, so Lydia asks what it is. Our hero tells her that she will have to stay with him in the hut if she is to continue living here, so he needs to know if she is okay with this. Lydia blushes and says that she is actually happy to stay with Alex, which makes his intrusive thoughts run wild again. On that note, the both of them agree to cultivate the land together and begin a new journey, which could also be filled with shoddiness if things go as per the standard comic guzzler stories. One important thing to note, though, is that our hero is still unaware of the fact that the land he is about to develop is actually a demon territory that is infested with monsters. At this very moment, another monster shows up near the hut, which means some action is to follow. Now, time passes by, and we see Lydia growing plants which can offer food to them. Alex is happy to see this, because with these food supplies, he does not need to worry about surviving here. Since there is no need to rely on what the guild is going to send, the next plan of action is to develop a living space. In order to do that, they will need to reinforce the area around the shed. But at this very moment, Alex can hear and sense another presence. That's when we see the monster from before showing up again, so it's time for our hero to spring into action again. As could be assumed, this is some kind of wolf monster with a menacing aura, but still not as scary as the Ant King from Solo Leveling. However, Lydia seems to be in a state of panic as this is a shadow wolf. Alex is not Sung Jin Woo, so he can't command this shadow, leading him to guard Lydia. The shadow wolf looks at our hero with menacing eyes, so he turns to Lydia and asks her for a favor. He tells her that his sword is inside the hut, so she will need to grab it before the monster attacks them. The elf girl does as she's told, and thanks to the supreme power of plot armor, she is able to bring the sword to her savior as the shadow wolf chooses to do absolutely nothing in the middle of all this. Our hero grabs his sword and begins to farm aura, but Lydia tells him that shadow wolves are really strong, so taking one on all by himself isn't the best idea. The elf girl offers to use her magic to support Alex, but he tells her it's all right. He goes on to unleash his Holy Cross attack, which deals some considerable damage to the shadow wolf. This is not enough though, so our hero lets out another one. Lydia is in disbelief as she hasn't seen a human with such power. The fact that Alex is able to land 2 holy attacks in a row makes Lydia have unholy attacks in her mind. She goes to our hero and calls him amazing for being able to defeat a shadow wolf all by himself. He does not think much of it though, because he still has to farm more aura. He says that it really wasn't much of a fight to him, but Lydia maintains that the shadow wolves only have one weakness, which is to holy attacks. Plus, these monsters are said to be disasters on their own, so this is not small feat. Alex can understand what Lydia is trying to say, but he has fought monsters like these on a daily basis, so to him it's just another Monday. Having said that, it's also important to avoid getting attacked when you're trying to develop your own land. In order to do this, the couple will need to reinforce the area around the hut, but Alex will have to do all the heavy lifting. He picks up a pickaxe and says that he will dig a pit around the hut while also gathering stones to build a wall. Lydia gets excited and says that our hero should leave it to her. Alex says he could never leave this kind of work to a cute elf girl. However, Lydia reminds him that she has the powers of a shaman, which means that she can control the earth below them. To Alex's surprise, he can see all the soil being dug up on its own, and the stones in the area are also floating. This means that Lydia is using her magic to create the pit as well as the wall. All of this seems really convenient at first, but then Lydia starts to struggle because she does not have much strength left. She drops to the ground, but Alex is able to catch her before she hits the surface. The elf girl says sorry because she does not have enough magical power to get the job done. However, she suddenly feels warm on the inside, and that's when she realizes that Alex is the one doing it. This is not in a sus way though, as he can share his magical powers with others by virtue of his skills as a paladin. On that note, our hero shares his magic with Lydia, which enables her to keep going with her instant construction. The elf girl is amazed that she can feel her savior's magical power flowing within her, and it's probably not the only thing she wants flowing inside her body either. Now that she is filled up, but not with elephant water, the elf girl is able to go full power. She unleashes a hole in the earth and summons a stone wall. Alex watches on with amazement as he witnesses the pit and the stone wall being made in front of him in real time. This is something he has never seen before, so he thanks Lydia for saving him a ton of time. The elf girl admits that she got a bit too excited, which is why the pit and the wall are not perfectly done. Alex does not care about that, and he asks Lydia if she can stand up. After all, she did use up a lot of magical power, even though a lot of it came from Alex. Our hero offers his hand to the elf girl and tells her it's time to get going. He proceeds to carry Lydia on his back, which makes her shy. Alex says he can continue to share his magical power with her as he walks, so it's all good. Lydia says that our hero's magical powers are enveloping her for sure, which is why her body feels so warm. Alex comments that this is a bit nostalgic for him, as his childhood friend could also use magic powers like Lydia. Just like the elf girl, Ellie too would collapse often because she did not have enough magical powers. This was when he started sharing magic power with her by carrying her just like he is now carrying Lydia. Sadly for him, such moments are nothing more than distant memories to him now. Lydia is interested to know if this childhood friend is a man or a woman, because she might be feeling a bit jealous. Alex calmly says that she is a woman, but he wonders if he has said something wrong. The elf girl realizes that her savior is also a Rizzed master, so she blushes once more and tries to avoid exposing her feelings. She then starts to whack our hero playfully because she is still being carried by him. Alex can't understand why she is so angry, but he needs to learn how Comic Guzzler's logic works. After some time, the couple reaches the hut, and Alex says it's time to get some rest, as the sun is also setting. He asks the elf girl if she would like to eat some food, but mentions that he only has light emergency food with him now. Lydia says it's fine and he should not worry about her. After all, she is the one who has made Alex use a lot of his power, but our hero maintains that he might feel better if he gets some good sleep. As they rest, Alex wonders how much time it will take for the plants to grow proper food. He also wonders when the guild is going to be sending him the supplies that Tabitha had promised. However, before he can drift away into those thoughts, Lydia tells him that it's cold and the blanket is very thin. Of course, this also has to do with the fact that her attire is a bit too minimal. However, The elf girl asks our hero if he is fine to sleep next to her and share some body heat. Naturally, this is where things get a little exciting for Alex. Now, we move to the next morning as Alex wakes up. He feels that the night has gone by way too quickly, and he tries to rest some more. However, that's when he realizes that he has Lydia sleeping next to him as she holds on to his arm like a little spoon. Our hero tries to wake up the elf girl, who is in a peaceful slumber. She wakes up and sniffs Alex just like Cha-hae in Sniff Sung Jin Woo. She then wishes him a good morning, which is what every man of culture hopes to wake up to. Suddenly, Lydia sneezes, which makes Alex concerned. It looks like she had clung on to our hero for warmth, but it wasn't enough because she really needs to do something about her clothes. Alex must be fighting so many battles in his head too, so he figures he'll ask the guild for some female clothes in order to combat his intrusive thoughts. As he says this, Alex turns around and notices a box that wasn't here before. This means that the supplies have finally arrived. There's food, ingredients, simple household items, tools, and men's clothes. Lydia spots flour, butter, and plants as well, so this is a great boost for them. The elf girl looks outside and notices that her plant has borne some fruits as well. By using the ingredients from the guild and these plants, the couple can make some awesome dishes that even Gordon Ramsay would be proud of. Lydia is keen to organize the ingredients, so Alex allows her to. Our hero needs to repair the shed as well, because the door was broken down by the bird beast earlier. The plan is to have lunch once all this work is over, and Lydia says she's going to do her best. After some time, Alex is able to sort out the door, and Lydia is busy with the dishes. Our hero knows that safety is not something that will be easy in the house as of now, so he goes outside to take a good look at the surroundings. There are some signs that the previous farmers who came here did try to cultivate the fields. Of course, they ran away from monsters, but Alex has no such issues, so he picks up a shovel and slams it onto the ground. To his surprise, the soil is quite hard here, so he wonders what the cause could be. Alex would probably need an expert to guide him through this process, but there's also the problem of the vast land in front of him. Alex can only see the distance and nothing else as of now, so he explores the space a bit. He can only find beast skeletons and there is no water source nearby. It really begs the question as to why someone would even want to set up a development base over here. Of course, there has to be a monster lurking around somewhere, and it decides to show itself now. It looks like some kind of tree beast, and Alex figures he should not let his guard down. He does seem to enjoy the thrill of hunting monsters like these, because his eyes light up when he goes to fight the beast. It does not take our hero long before he defeats the tree monster, and he figures he might as well go back to the curvy elf babe. We can see Lydia having fun with washing the dishes, so she might be awakening the true woman within her. The important thing to note here is that not only is she having fun, but she is also creating water with her magic. Alex takes one look at this and his jaw drops. He can't believe that Lydia is able to create water with her magic, but she tells him the food is ready. The elf girl has made pancakes for Alex, which makes her the perfect woman. Our hero takes a bite, and he loves the pancakes. The garnish is amazing as well, so Lydia explains she made that with the fruits that her trees have borne. Just when Alex thinks that his life couldn't get any better, Lydia tells him that he has been working hard all day, so he should take a shower now. This sounds great, but our hero wonders if Lydia's magical power would be enough for that. She says yes, but only if Alex joins in on the fun as well. Our hero is a bit nervous now, because he will have to maintain physical contact with the maid girl while taking a shower. Yes, we can already hear all the men of culture at Comic Guzzlers screaming it should have been me, not him. Anyway, Lydia says that she is fine with it because Alex is her savior after all. Alex wonders what he should do, but he feels he won't be able to control his intrusive thoughts here, so he considers saying no. However, this ends up hurting Lydia's feelings because she thinks he does not want to do it with a former slave girl. That is not at all what our hero had in mind, but he figures he should not be such a drama queen and just act like a real man. Now, the couple stands facing opposite each other, and Alex promises not to sneak a peek. Lydia doesn't mind either way, and she starts her water magic. The elf girl unleashes her blessed water magic and gives the both of them a bath. Alex asks her if she has enough magic to get through this, but she seems all right. As a matter of fact, Lydia is enjoying the shower so much that she can feel it coming like the weekend. Alex admits this is torture, but in a good way because he and Lydia are in their birthday suits next to each other. Of course, it can't just end like this, so the elf girl seemingly slips and falls onto Alex. The elf girl apologizes for slipping and covering Alex with her massive pillows, but he tells her to get off him quickly before he awakens the dark side. Lydia backs away before anything shady can happen, but the scene has become awkward, so the both of them figure they should get out of the shower. They change into new clothes, but since Lydia has nothing else, our hero gives her one of his shirts. He also promises to ask the guild for female clothes next time, as his own shirt is a bit too large for the petite, yet curvy elf babe. Lydia says she would actually prefer to keep Alex's clothes on, and she goes on to sniff them, which means our man has immaculate riz without even trying. Before he can appreciate his impressive powers, our hero can hear something form behind him, so he wonders what it could be. It's actually Tabitha, who is doing some magical version of a phone call with Alex, much to his surprise. She asks him if all the supplies have reached him on time, but he is mainly glad to hear a familiar voice. Alex tells Tabitha that everything has come here, so she asks if anything is missing. This gives our hero the opportunity to ask for female clothes, although this really confuses Tabitha. This is currently a word of just two people, but Tabitha does not know about Lydia, so she is visibly concerned. She asks Alex if he is so desperate to get women that he is willing to wear their own clothes. That is some seriously niche category, so Alex tells her it's not like that. Anyway, Tabitha now asks our hero if he needs more food, like a nice pasta with bread, but he tells her not to worry about him. After all, he was able to have some really tasty pancakes today. Naturally, the guild girl is a bit surprised to hear that, so she asks if Alex needs some sweet snacks like fresh fruits or cakes. Once again, he says it's all right because he was able to enjoy an apple as well. Tabitha wonders how our hero is able to get fruits over there because she had heard it was a pretty harsh environment. Alex does agree that it's harsh, but his main question is why he is here right now. That's when Tabitha reveals to him that he is in a land that is infested with and ruled by demons. It is called the Fourth Demon Realm, which means that it's almost as though Alex has been summoned in another world. Our hero has no words, and neither does Lydia, so Tabitha says sorry for not doing the proper preparations for this trip. Alex tells her to chill because he was the one who carelessly jumped into the portal. He then asks Tabitha how far it would be if he had to come back to the city, but she says it will be quite the task without magic. Basically, this can't be done without summoning magic, and the great sage who is capable of it is currently busy because of the plot armor for the demon realm. Nevertheless, it will take at least 2 months from now to get the sage on board, and this makes our hero tap into his big brain energy. It would have been ideal if he could have sent Lydia to her hometown, but it can't be helped as it is. Now, Tabitha tells Alex that he should go south from where he is right now, as he will find a town there. It's still quite a distance, but our hero does not mind because at least there is a city here somewhere. Since that is the case, it could also be a good bet to start exploring in the direction of the city. Now Tabitha says that since Alex is in such a tough spot, there is someone who has offered to help him, and it happens to be a woman. Naturally, this makes Lydia a bit upset because she is getting jealous again. The guild girl is thinking of sending her over to help our hero, but Lydia tugs at his shirt, so he figures the elf girl is still not ready. One look in her sweet, innocent eyes is all it takes for Alex to give in. So he tells Tabitha that the land is not ready to take in new people. He says he will ask her again for this woman some other day, but Tabitha is super confused. Regardless, our hero hangs up the call, but Lydia asks him if it was really okay for him to reject help. He says that the place is indeed not ready for more people, and perhaps the elf girl is also not ready for more people just yet. Keeping that in mind, he figures it would be best for it to just be the two of them for now. Alex then offers his hand to Lydia and tells her they should do their best to develop this land. The elf girl is happy to hear this, as she smiles and holds on to Alex's hand. Our hero says that they will need to expand the field first, so they should rest for today and start tomorrow. The both of them go to bed, and the elf girl is still clinging on to her savior's arm like a teddy bear. Naturally, he asks her how long this is going to go on for, as she now has clothes to cover her curvy body. However, Lydia says that it's a bit chilly this time of day, and she would like to sleep next to our hero once more. With the face she is making, it is a miracle that Alex has not unleashed the beast within, but perhaps he is able to control his intrusive thoughts through mental fortitude. Alex believes maybe it's not just the clothes, but the blanket as well, so he'll ask Tabitha for a thicker blanket the next time she calls. Of course, a blanket isn't the only thick thing Lydia wants on her. Our hero figures he should be considerate, so he allows Lydia to cozy up to him and hold his arm. The elf girl seems to be very happy with her savior, and she goes to sleep almost instantly. Alex tells us that he was worried about Lydia's condition, which was the actual reason why he turned down having more people sent here. However, considering the state of the soil, it would actually be great if he could have more manpower, or at least an expert to guide him. For example, a blacksmith would be great for making tools capable of breaking the soil. Even a farmer with proper knowledge about agriculture would add a lot of value to Alex's team. Anyway, Alex decides to go to sleep, and he will ask Lydia about this again some other time. Now, we move back to the actual town where Ellie comes to see Tabitha. She asks her how it went, which confirms that she was the woman who wanted to help our hero. Tabitha tells her that Alex had rejected the offer, which surprises her to no end. The guild girl says that Alex sounded really fine, and he somehow has easy access to food and water too, so he does not have a need for anyone extra. Ellie is at least happy that her lover boy is not having any trouble with food, but she maintains that staying inside the demon realm without a wizard is super dangerous and scary. Tabitha agrees with her, as the arch-wizard would have been a safe bet for this kind of journey. Ellie still can't figure out why Alex left the party on his own, which means she still does not know about the shady trick that Roland had pulled. Ellie is a good girl, as she says that the party is nothing without our hero, which is very true. Now, Tabitha says it might even be dangerous to just go and visit Alex at his new place, so Ellie demands to know why. Surprisingly, the guild girl says that our hero might be compromised himself. This could be cause for concern, but then she says that Alex might be like a hungry wolf right now, which makes no sense. Ellie is also stumped, but then she hears a voice calling out to her. It's none other than Roland, who tells her it's time to go on their first quest as a new party. He gives her an evil smile and suggests going to the dungeon, but Ellie's heart clearly does not seem to be in it. Now, we move to the dungeon, which is surprisingly a colorful scene. Roland can't believe that there are so many enemies, so he tells Ellie to do something with her magic. The mage girl mocks Roland by saying he is really leaving all the hard work to the others in his party. In order to understand how they got here, we need to go back to the point where Roland told Ellie to go to the dungeon. She replied by saying they can't go anywhere without Alex, but Roland is annoyed that she is talking about our hero again. The fake hero says that Alex could not keep up with their fights, which was why he pulled out, but once again, this is a big fat lie. Once again, Roland convinces Ellie that Alex pulled out because he was too weak for them, but she is not a fool. She can sense that something is wrong, so she points out to Roland that the reason they were able to move freely in battle was because of Alex being their tank. He would actually do a lot more for the party as well, but Roland maintains that he has hired 2 replacements for our hero. One is a soldier named Roy, and the other is a dual wielder named Grace. The fake hero says that they don't need a shield or a tank like Alex, and they will simply maximize their attack to make up for low defense. Now, we move to after the battle inside the dungeon, and we can see that all of the party members are badly hurt. Roland was able to win, but it was really hard for him to do so. He looks at Grace, who is badly hurt, but he starts screaming at her. Her class is supposed to be good at speed, so he tells her to use that speed to take care of the enemy. Grace apologizes, although it should not be her fault. Roland then turns to Roy, who is also injured, and scolds him for not reducing the team's damage and only focusing on his own damage. The fake hero says that Roy's attacks were weak, and this was why the party was hit so many times. Roland then says that it makes no difference whether Roy is here or not, but Roy has had enough of this, so he decides to respond. He explains that it's impossible for an ordinary shield man to protect a party from so much damage. This is why they prefer splitting the enemy into smaller groups and then attacking. However, Roland just rushes towards the enemy like Drake rushes towards junior college. The fake hero did not even consider the safety of his party during this whole time, so he is the one to blame. Roland says that Alex does the same thing as he did today, and he can't deal with status effects at the same time. Most parties don't even have the means to prevent such a thing, but Grace tells him that the only thing she is getting from this chat is that the party members should just deal with their injuries and heal later. She then asks Roland what he has been doing up until now. After all, he could have come up with a way to deal with status effects during all this time. Then again, Alex was there to take care of such things, which means he was always the most valuable player. Such talk is no good for Roland, as he lashes out at the others and tells them not to blame others for their actions, even though he is doing the exact same thing. Anyway, Roland can't take the disrespect any longer, so he tells both Roy and Grace that they don't deserve a single penny from him. He tells the fighters to get lost, and they are more than happy to get away from this toxic work environment. Before leaving though, Grace gives some hard advice to Ellie, which is that she should not continue being in a party with Roland, as he is not stable currently. It is dangerous to be around him, so the mage girl should think about what she should do next. With that, Grace and Roy leave the party, following which we go to the fake hero house late at night. Roland laments that today was a disaster in the dungeon, and he blames it all on his new hires. Ellie tells him that he should not call someone useless, but at this point he does not even care about such things. He is even more upset that the job request wasn't even an S-rank one, but only a rank. Even so, they barely managed to make it out alive. Roland goes crazy and says that if he hadn't been held back, then he would have easily handled a request like this. The fake hero then says that Grace and Roy were not the real replacements, and he has actually called on someone very special to take Alex's place. His intrusive thoughts show us a very curvy babe, but we don't know who she is. Roland has a meeting with this special person tomorrow, so he is going to take a shower and get some rest. Ellie decides to go and get some sleep too, but then Roland grabs her by the waist and pulls her closer to him. He tells her that if she is lonely, then he would happily give her some company in bed. However, Ellie pushes him away and tells him to stop messing around. She shuts the door on the way out, leaving Roland with nothing but his hand to play with. Ellie is still thinking about Alex, and she clearly wants to be with him, as he is the much better choice of man. As the mage girl thinks about our hero, we move back to him and Lydia in the demon realm. Alex is chopping some wood, but it's almost as if he could hear Ellie calling out to him. The elf girl asks him what's up, but he says it must be his imagination. We now shift to more serious action, as Alex uses his Holy Cross move for the purpose of construction. He tells Lydia to follow up with her own magic, so she uses the stone wall move to make a barrier strengthened with holy magic. The land has finally been secured, so at least there is some safety now. The elf girl says that while her savior continues to take out monsters, she will use her magic to expand the wall and their perimeter. This is a good way to go, and the couple is slowly approaching the southern city at their current pace. Alex has to go plow the fields now, so he tells Lydia to go get some rest until then. She says that she can help too, because she does have her digging magic by her side. However, Alex wishes to do this on his own as he uses magic on a daily basis. Even if it's Lydia, our hero does not want to be too dependent on her, because he needs to be competent by himself. Isekai'd is fine with doing the cultivation little by little, but the elf girl still wants to help him. Even as she says this, Lydia falls into our hero's arms because her magic has been drained. Alex was indeed speaking facts, so he decides to share his magic with her. He may have woken her up for now, but the best way to regain mana is by resting, so Alex urges Lydia to do that. She smiles and says okay in the sweetest way. Now, we shift to our hero trying to plow the fields, but the soil is so hard that he has to put in a lot of effort. He comments that 7 days have passed, and even though the empty field is still there, at least he has found a stable way to develop it. Having said that, this does seem like a good time to be increasing staff. Alex worries that Lydia may get upset again, but he does need to ease the burden off her. Monsters are flying around, so Alex decides to get back home. He looks around for Lydia and finds her in a rather cute costume. Her clothes were dirty, so she changed into the clothes that the guild had sent for Alex, and she looks like an absolute bomb. The elf girl asks our hero what he thinks about her outfit, so he says that it's amazing and really suits her. Lydia is glad to hear that, so she says they've spoken enough. It's time to have dinner, so the elf girl goes to the dinner table. Suddenly, Alex's hand lights up, and even Lydia notices it. Our hero realizes that it is the slave release skill because 7 days have passed since he summoned the elf girl. Now, he explains to Lydia that this is the extra skill he had used to summon her, and it is ready to go again. He explains that he can now summon one slave from anywhere in the world, but Lydia seems to be a bit nervous. She is about to ask him if he plans on using it, but he is not sure because he does not know if Lydia is ready for company. It's not exactly what the elf girl has in mind, but anyway, Alex says that if someone is suffering as a slave somewhere in the world, and he can stop that, then he would like to use this skill. Lydia is on board with it, so Alex uses his slave release skill for the second time. Another flash of light takes over the hut, and we see another slave girl getting summoned. Basically, it looks like our hero has got a knack for summoning slaves of the opposite gender thus far. It's time to move to another scenario now, so we see a bunch of goblins commanding some human slaves. They are quite literally whipping them into shape and telling them to get a move on with it. One of the goblins can see a scared slave cowering in the corner and believes that he is due for a replacement. A slave girl notices the goblin saying this, but she gets smacked by him for trying to listen to his chat. He tells her not to slack off and continue with her job, but these are horrible working conditions. The slave girl says that the goblins have been treating them horribly off late, so at this rate, things are going to get really messy. She prays for someone to help her, and at this very moment, the flash of light takes over her. The slave release symbol forms in front of the slave girl, but she does not know what it is. The portal tells her that if she wishes to be freed from being a slave, then she should step forward. This does not require big brain energy, so the slave girl does indeed step forward. With that, she is taken away from her slave camp and transported to Alex. The girl drops into the floor, and our hero finally has someone new in his team. Alex does not know who this is, but first, he has to avoid the pickaxe she is about to launch at him. She was summoned as she was bringing it down, so Alex manages to evade it without any damage. He also holds on to the girl as she had completely lost her balance. Our hero asks her if she is okay, but the moment she regains her composure, she looks at him and calls him Oni-san. Alex is visibly confused, but the girl also doesn't seem to know where she has been summoned. The girl's name seems to be Nenah, and she is worried that she has to get back to the mine, otherwise she will get punished. Lydia can figure this out, so she whispers to our hero to have a look at Nenah's clothes. Judging from all the dirt on her, Alex deduces that she was working as a slave inside a mine. Naturally, he gets angry because a child as young as Nenah should not be doing such things. Nenah looks at Alex and asks if he is the new overseer. She then takes a look at our hero's sword and promises to listen to whatever he tells her, as long as he does not hurt her. It breaks Alex's heart to see this from such an innocent child, so he tells Nenah not to worry, as everything is fine here. The cute little slave girl takes a deep breath, just as Alex asks her to, and then she listens to what he has to say. He introduces himself as a paladin and a tank, while also introducing Lydia as an elf girl with shaman powers. Nenah is then told that she was summoned here by a bonus skill, which she finds hard to believe. Lydia tells her that she also used to have the collar and slave crest on her body till she met Alex. She calls him her savior and says that he was the one who took her slave crest away from her. Nenah finally figures out what has happened here, and Alex wants to liberate her properly, but he can't use the teleportation skill just yet. He promises to take Nenah to the nearest town once that is possible, because she is free now. The little girl's eyes light up, and she can't believe that such a thing has happened. Alex tells her that he is a paladin, so he does not lie. Nenah is overjoyed to finally be free, and her stomach also starts feeling hot, just like it had happened with Lydia. After a bit of a struggle, both the collar and the slave crest disappear from Nenah, and she is on top of the moon now. Her neck and her body feel so much lighter now, and Alex is glad that he was able to do this for her. Nenah runs around and eventually bumps into Alex to hug him. After all, he is the one who saved her from the slave life, so it only makes sense for her to show some gratitude to him as well. She thanks our hero and calls him Oni-san again, which touches Alex's heart. He pats her on the head, and this gives him the feeling of having a little sister. Lydia can sense that this is exactly what Alex is thinking, so she decides to let him and the viewers of Comic Guzzlers in on a little secret. The elf girl reveals that Nenah may look like a little child, but she is actually a dwarf, which means that she is a fully grown adult woman. So basically, she is trying to say, no diddy. Alex can't believe what he has just heard, and neither can any of us, but Nenah also asks him how he was not able to notice this. She then holds on to his arm in a similar way to how Lydia does it, and says that she is called Nenah the dwarf. Alex can only smile for now, as he has been totally bamboozled by the dwarf girl. She was being so sweet and innocent up until that point, but she is actually an adult. Our hero confesses that he did assume Nenah was a child, but the dwarf girl maintains that is not the case with her. She does say that when Alex held her after she got teleported, it was the first time she was ever held so gently. Our hero feels a bit awkward about this, so he says sorry to Nenah in case he did something weird. She says that it's fine because it actually made her happy. Now that the initial chats are done, Nenah asks Alex if he lives here alone with Lydia. He says yes, because the two of them are trying to develop the land around here. Nenah gets it and says that she too will help with the settlement. Both Alex and the elf girl are a bit surprised by this, especially considering hard labor is something our hero has literally just saved Nenah from right now. However, the dwarf girl says that Alex saved her, so it makes him her benefactor. She wants to pay him back for what he has done, but our hero says that is not needed at all. Then again, Alex realizes that he was going to ask the guild for some extra hands, so using Nenah could work in his favor, since Lydia is also fine with her. The dwarf girl says that she can do anything our hero will ask of her, but when he asks if she can cook, she says that she is better at eating than at cooking. It's literally me. Lydia says that she's fine with the cooking by herself, so Alex asks Nenah if she can use any of the holy attributes. She says that she doesn't even know what that is supposed to mean, so our hero then asks if she knows anything about farming. The dwarf girl has only had experience with harvesting till now, but she says that she is definitely good at something. After putting in some thought, Nenah says that she is really good at being a blacksmith. That's a bit odd coming from her, but it actually fits within the dwarf stereotype. As a matter of fact, Nenah looks like the type of girl who would be good with fire as well as iron. Alex wants to confirm if he heard her right, but Nenah says that she is indeed a blacksmith, and even has the magic skills of a blacksmith. Our hero wonders if this is some kind of job skill, and Nenah confirms it. She was unable to use it before because of her slave crest, but she does not have that problem now. She once again repeats that she is a blacksmith, and then she takes a look at the stuff lying around. The dwarf girl wants to get a good look at everything, so she asks her Oni-san if she can go outside, to which he says yes. As she explores the area, she finds a sword that looks like it can be used. Alex doesn't know how that's possible because the weapon looks fairly rusted. Nenah's eyes light up, so she tells her Oni-san to take a look at what she is going to do. The dwarf girl unleashes a skill known as shape shift, and all of a sudden, the sword lights up. Alex is quite impressed to see the process unfolding in front of him, as the rusted sword has now been molded and turned into a pot. Nenah then explains that as long as she has the base materials, she can make all kinds of tools and even enhance weapons. On top of this, she also has the skill to detect ores, which means she's quite a handy girl. Alex is amazed, but Lydia is even happier because she can now cook with a pot rather than just a frying pan. She gives the dwarf girl a nice, big hug, and Alex is pleased to see the elf girl being comfortable around other people too. However, he also feels bad that Lydia has been making do with the bare minimum, so he'll make sure to ask Tabitha for more supplies the next time. Lydia says it's no issue at all, and then Nenah says that if she has the materials for it, then she can build a house too. While this is quite impressive, the main problem is that there aren't enough materials to make a house here. There's wood for sure, but no iron at all. However, the dwarf girl says to leave the detection duties to her, and then she does a quick search of the land. She then uses a skill known as or detection, which as its name suggests, helps her to detect ores. The dwarf girl can actually sense some iron ore directly beneath them, and says that it's not too deep so they can mine it out. Alex and Lydia never expected to hear this, but Nenah too is impressed by how just two people were able to develop the empty land this much. Alex says that Lydia did most of the work, but he's just teasing her, so she tells him to stop goofing around. After all, she is only able to do this because her savior shares his mana with her while also fighting off scary monsters. Nenah is surprised to learn that there are monsters here, and even more shocked when Alex reveals that this is a shadow wolf habitat. She says the same thing that Lydia did, which is that even one shadow wolf is strong enough to be a disaster class. However, the elf girl tells Nenah that Alex is able to take them down with ease. The dwarf girl is so impressed that she looks at our hero with sparkling eyes and calls him amazing. The Rizzed is indeed strong with this one, as Nenah says she wishes to see a shadow wolf as well. She asks if any of them are around, so Alex tells her to look into the distance to spot one. He lifts the dwarf girl on his shoulders and asks if she can see any shadow wolves, but Lydia is more concerned about the fact that Nenah got lifted by Alex before her. Anyway, the dwarf girl is really short, so she says nothing is visible. Alex figures he should have taken her height into consideration, so he tells her to climb his back. Nenah does as he says, and it's almost like an elder brother carrying his little sister to go see a carnival or something. Nenah goes to the edge of the wall and can finally spot a shadow wolf roaming around outside. She still can't believe that her Oni-san was able to take down something so powerful, but bro has to ore a farm, so he says it's no big deal. Alex does ask Nenah not to lean out too far because she could fall off the wall. The dwarf girl says she's fine, but wants to lean in a bit further. However, when Alex looks up to see if Nenah is fine, he gets quite a sparkling view from up top, just like Willem Dafoe. It's not just pillows, but Twin Peaks as well, making our hero a very naughty boy. Nenah asks him what's wrong, but Alex can't explain what only men of culture can understand. He drops down and takes Nenah off his back, saying sorry, but also refusing to explain why he can't continue holding her like this. Nenah still doesn't get why her Oni-san is behaving this way, but Lydia does, as is hinted by the way she is blushing. The elf girl wishes to change the topic now, so she asks Alex to come back home for food. Now, back in the hut, we see Lydia brushing Nenah's hair, giving her a glow up. The dwarf girl thanks her for the food and everything she has done for her, but the elf girl says sorry for only giving her simple food today. She says that she will be able to cook bigger potions next time with the new pot Nenah had made. So the girls are excited for tomorrow. Alex is really happy to see this, and he tells the former slave girls that they are just like sisters. The girls are also happy to hear his, and our hero is relieved that all three of them are getting along so well. Having said that, it is starting to feel a bit cramped up over here, so he'll need to do something about the space. Of course, the girls don't have a problem with this because it's way better than what they had to deal with back when they were slave girls. As a matter of fact, they think that they are currently living in luxury, but this only embarrasses our hero. Nenah says that this is right up her alley, as she can make house and beds as long as she has the materials to do so. Alex pats her head and tells Nenah that he will be counting on her skills. This gesture makes her appreciate her new savior, and then Lydia says that she will help with the bedding. Alex will chop the wood tomorrow, and Nenah says they will all do their best. It's a rather wholesome moment, which is not that common on comic guzzlers. Now, there is an even bigger issue to address, which Lydia does. She asks where Nenah is going to sleep today, as she hasn't been allocated a spot in the hut. Alex has no answer to this, and just like that, the wholesome moment is gone. Our hero realizes that he will need to fix this issue as soon as possible, because he can't let his intrusive thoughts run amok. Nenah says that she wishes to sleep next to her Oni-san, but Lydia says that she has had that privilege till now. The only thing Alex can wish for is that the girls should stop arguing over who gets to be shady with him. We don't exactly know how that situation played out in the night, but we do go ahead to the next morning where the team gets ready for a busy day ahead. Alex says he will chop the wood for the bedding, Lydia will be working on the field, and Nenah will be used to mine some more. On that note, the triple couple gets started with the day. We see our hero in full action, as he flexes his muscles and takes down the trees with his super strength. This isn't enough for him to farm aura, so he carries the trunk of the tree on his shoulders too. He brings the wood to Lydia, who is seen using her magical shaman powers as well. Alex offers to help her because even in barren land, as long as they keep digging and watering the soil, it will become soft gradually over a period of time. The elf girl is amazed to see that the soil particles have indeed become finer, which means all that's left to do now is to use some fertilizer. Food scraps would also work in this case. And then the couple talks about Nenah, who is very keen to pay our hero back for all that he's done for her so far. She eagerly went off to extract and mine the iron ore, so Lydia feels she should go check on her later. Alex can sense care and concern from the elf girl, but Lydia becomes a bit shy because of this. However, our hero has something else in mind. He remembers that slave girls are able to use their skills properly once they become liberated from slavery, but Lydia is not sure if Nenah should use her skills right away. Now, our hero says that he needs to reconsider something. He has been trying to rush towards the slaves, hoping to help them. This is noble for sure, but he also needs to consider that when he summons a slave, he can't just send them back to their homes right away. They will need to stay with him over here for a while, but with the current amount of space he has right now, it would be another kind of hardship for his slaves to live in such cramped conditions. He has already placed this burden on Lydia and Nenah, so he does not wish to do it to others. The elf girl says that this is not the case as she enjoys being with her savior. Even so, Alex believes that he should develop this place even further if he truly wishes to help the slaves he frees. The elf girl tells him that while this is a kind and thoughtful decision, she does not feel like she is being burdened at all. It looks like Lydia is about to risk it all and confess her true feelings for our hero, but we need to remember that this is a manga, so bad timing is everything when it comes to romance. Suddenly, Nenah shows up and tells her Oni-san that she has something to show him. She takes his hand and leads him away from Lydia, who is clearly disappointed that her moment got taken away. The dwarf girl now takes Alex to the spot where she was mining and tells him to have a look. Alex can't believe his eyes, as Nenah has been able to create a proper mining site all by herself. Nenah calls herself amazing, and then tells our hero come down and take a look at what she's done. Alex calls this incredible as the whole thing has been designed like a massive spiral. Nenah explains that this method makes it a lot easier for her to dig. We learn that this method is called open pit mining, also known as surface mining. It's when you extract or by digging directly from the surface without having to create tunnels. Now, Nenah reveals that even though she used to work as a slave in the mines, she actually likes digging, and now with Alex, she can do as she pleases. The dwarf girl was so excited that she didn't even realize how far along she had come when she started digging. Alex says that even though Nenah enjoys digging, the fact that she was able to go this far all by herself is truly an amazing feat. Nenah chuckles and says that she really got into it, but more than that, she wanted to be of use to her Oni-san. Alex smiles at her, because this is genuine affection that he is feeling from Nenah. The dwarf girl then brings his attention to all the ore she has mined till now, which is quite a big amount. Alex can't believe that there's so much iron ore over here, but Nenah says that this is only what she has been able to mine so far. There's even more ore to be had if she keeps digging. She thought she'd at least let our hero know about this, and he appreciates her attitude, so he pats her on the head once more. Nenah is glad to have such a nice big bro, and then Lydia shows up, offering to carry the ore. She has brought some sacks from the house, so they can use these to divide the ore and carry it back up. This is yet another chance for Alex to flex and farm ore, so he tells the elf girl there's no need for that, as he can just carry the entire crate by himself. Of course, he tells the girls they can use the sacks for whatever they are carrying, and come to think of it, you should not expect anything less from a holy night. The girls don't want to be left behind, so they also fill up the sacks and carry them home. It's a bit of a task for Lydia and Nenah, but they manage to pull their own weight too. By the end of it, everyone is tired, including Alex, who believes they are going to need proper mining equipment if they are to do this quicker. Nenah smiles and says that she worked up more sweat while carrying the ore than actually digging it, which causes Lydia to point out that her clothes have gotten really dirty. The elf girl asks if Nenah wishes to take a shower, which makes her eyes light up. However, she says that Lydia must be tired too, so she is fine for now. The dwarf girl just needs to dry her clothes a little, but this is unacceptable behavior to both Lydia as well as Alex. Nenah begins to get into her birthday suit, but Lydia tells her she can't just do random things like this out in the open. The elf girl turns into the creep police as she covers Nenah and asks Alex if he saw anything. Even if he did, it's not like he's gonna say it out loud, so the coast is clear for now. He does tell Nenah to put something on fast, because there's only so much control he can pull off. Now, the dwarf girl is given a towel to dry herself, and Alex apologizes to Lydia for making her handle the situation. She looks back at her savior with dreamy eyes and calls him a dummy in her head, because he has not figured out her feelings for him just yet. But then again, he is not like the Mommy Lover series or the female world's Yuta, who can just turn over to the dark side whenever they want. Now, Alex sees Lydia carrying a lot of stuff, so he offers to help her out, but she says she's fine. After all, this is her responsibility, but even so, she does seem to be acting really weird. Alex worries that the elf girl is pushing herself too hard, And while he does appreciate her help in the settlement, he does not want her to overdo it. He figures it's best to have a talk and straighten things out. So he approaches Lydia and asks her for a moment alone. She goes to him immediately, so our hero tells her to take a seat. Lydia does not know what to expect from her savior, and neither do we, so we're all surprised when he says that he will be the one making lunch today. Alex tells Lydia that she has clearly been pushing herself a bit too much lately, and he has also been leaving all the chores to her. At first, he wanted her to take a little break, but he wants to get to the bottom of this strange behavior. Alex apologizes to the elf girl for always relying on her, but she says that she has not been pushing herself at all, and he needs to stop apologizing to her. She tells Alex to sit down while she does the cooking, but she is momentarily taken away by the charm of eating the food made by her savior. Lydia snaps back into it and says that cooking is her job, but Comic Guzzlers believes in equality. Anyway, the elf girl asks our hero if he even knows how to cook, which is a bit embarrassing for him. Alex gives up on this, so he goes to Nenah and asks her why Lydia has been so tense lately. He wants to know if the dwarf girl can at least give him a clue, but she does not seem to have any idea about it either. However, she too can see that the elf girl is overdoing it. Nenah says that Lydia has always been nice to her, just like a big sister. So if there is anything she can do to help, she will gladly do it. The dwarf girl then says that as long as Lydia is working hard, she wants to do her best too. This is why Nenah is going to dig up even more ore, which pleases Alex. He thanks Nenah and pats her on the head again, but something needs to be done about Lydia, who is seen gazing into the window. She seems to be worried about something, as can be seen via the look on her face. Now, Alex decides he has to be a man about this and talk to Lydia directly about what is going on over here. No more beating around the bush anymore. So he opens the door and is about to have a heart-to-heart with the elf girl. However, he notices that Lydia is completely weak right now, and she can't even stand properly. She falls to the floor, but Alex is able to hold on to her just in time. He asks her what's wrong and realizes that he has indeed been pushing her too hard all this time. However, Lydia decides to let it all out, and says that she has not been pushing herself. She is also annoyed with how our hero has been apologizing to her all this time when there has never been a need to do so. The main thing she wants to say is that she does not want Alex to look at her as some rescued slave anymore. She wants him to look at her as his true comrade, and someone he can rely on. The elf girl asks her savior if he still looks at her as a weak, pitiful slave, and not one of his comrades. This causes a brief moment of silence, after which Alex admits to the fact that he has been apologizing a lot. He says sorry for that, but then Lydia gives him a look because he's basically doing the same thing again. Alex gets what she means, but he also wants her to know that he does think of her as a comrade. He just feels bad that he has to rely on Lydia for her shaman powers, even though he's been sharing his mana with her for all the heavy work. Lydia is relieved to hear this, and she also confesses that ever since Nenah came here, she started to wonder if she still had a place here. The elf girl admits that she was insecure and apologizes for that as well. Alex has a laugh about this and says that the both of them need to be more honest with each other. Now, Lydia asks Alex if he can pet her as well, because she has always been jealous of the fact that he only does it to Nenah. This is an easy request for our hero, so he pets Lydia on the head, and her face lights up. It's still a bit disappointing that there's no romance yet, but with the way things are going, something is bound to happen. Alex feels that he should have a word with Nenah as well, who is currently mining for more iron ore. The dwarf girl breaks open a rock with her pickaxe and takes a look into it. She is surprised to see that she has made a massive hole, and it is actually some kind of entrance to what looks like a dungeon. Naturally, Nenah is a bit surprised and confused, but this means the story has only just begun for Alex and his girls. Where exactly does this hole lead to? Is this some kind of secret dungeon with treasures? and what other demons are there to defeat in this realm.
Nenah decides to tell Alex about what she has discovered, and naturally, he is surprised to hear about it. She adds that she kept digging, which was what led her to it. Plus, there seem to be traces of iron deeper in, meaning our hero could definitely use the goods. Having said that, he does not know what is down there in the hole, and he does not want to make a mistake. He wants to make proper investigations before going ahead with the explorations, and this prompts Lydia to say she will go with his. She is quite excited about this, so Alex decides he will allow it this time. He says that he will be counting on his curvy elf babe this time, and even Nenah is glad to hear it. Now, our hero tells his girls that even if it's a natural cave, they are still in demon territory. This means that there's a chance there could be some monsters inside it. So, for this investigation, their goal should be to only confirm if it is safe to go there. Alex will also try to understand the size of the cave here. Now that they have settled on their plan, Lydia gets pumped and says they should get ready for tomorrow. Alex says he will need to polish his armor and sword, while Nenah says she will need to keep her pickaxe ready. The elf girl understands the need for weapons, but there is something a lot more important that needs to be considered. Nenah has not taken a shower yet, so Lydia suggests a group activity, including her master and the dwarf girl. Naturally, our hero struggles to control himself because he can only do so much. He tells the girls that even if it is to just conserve a small bit of magic power, he feels that he should go take a bath somewhere else. He's fine with using the stored water, but Lydia does not agree because she feels he's holding himself back. Nenah understands the assignment, so she asks our hero if he is blushing. He naturally says that is not the case, but then the dwarf girl takes a look at his abs and comments that he is ripped. Bro is not even flexing, but he says that he used to be the party's shield, so it's not too hard for him to be this fit. Lydia gets very jealous of this, so she grabs Nenah and tells her not to do such things. She says it's not out of jealousy, but we all know what her true intentions are. Nenah is a bit confused, so she looks at her own flat-screen TV and comments on how elves and dwarves have such different body types. She is obviously referring to Lydia's massive pillows, as she refers to how tall and slender she is, while also having curves in all the right places. Alex does his best not to react, but then Lydia lets out a small shriek when Nenah goes to feel her soft, comfy cushions. The elf girl asks the dwarf girl to stop because it tickles. Plus, if this continues, then she won't be able to control her magic over here. Just as she says this, she gets closer to Alex, and her cake brushes against his. Alex has had enough, because there's a limit to how much a man of culture can endure. He leaves the bathroom instantly, and saves himself from turning into a raging bull. Now, we move to the next day, and can see that Alex has dressed himself properly into his armor. Lydia and Nenah have also prepared their attires, so it's time for the group to go out there and explore that cave. They strike a pose before doing so, and Alex reminds them both that this is just a small investigation. He repeats the objectives of this mission just to make sure he is loud and clear, and the girls don't seem to have a problem with it at all. With that, the group decides to head inside, and quite some time passes by. They have been walking for quite a while now, but with no real progress. It's really quiet as well, so Lydia wonders where this route leads. Nenah says that they are getting closer to the iron reserves, as she can sense it with her hands. Alex is feeling that good old nostalgia, because this is just like exploring a dungeon to him. He's still a bit suspicious though, because why would a place like this exist underground? Eventually, he comes across some bones, which is never a good sign. Our hero can sense that something is here, so he and the girls get ready to fight. They are locked and loaded, and for good reason too, because we can see that there is a monster approaching them. It looks like some kind of giant scorpion, so we are in for a tricky time ahead. We switch to some color panels leading up to the sequence, as Alex tells his girls to get ready for what comes ahead. After all, this is a deadly battle deep underground, and it is against a pretty impressive beast. The giant scorpion does not waste any time as it gets ready to battle against the group. Lydia kicks things off by using her Windblade magic spell to attack it. The Windblades do land on the scorpion's tail, but they don't seem to do much damage to it. Alex is told by his elf babe to be careful because she has identified, after this attack, that the monster to be a green scorpion. Its tail contains a paralyzing venom, so Alex figures he should not make any mistakes. However, he is not going to just stand there and do nothing, so he charges straight at the monster and slashes slashes it with his holy sword. After all, venom does not work on a paladin, so Bro can strike a pose and farm some aura after his strike. Both Nenah and Lydia are shocked to see this, because they did not expect their master to take down a green scorpion with such ease. However, the danger is far from over, because there are more monsters heading their way. The next one looks really dangerous, and is much larger than the green scorpion as well. Lydia identifies it as an elite monster known as the Iron Scorpion, which is definitely a final boss kind of name. Alex is a bit taken aback after hearing the word iron, but the monster attacks him instantly, so he can't afford to relax against it. Alex tries to land a strike on it, but his efforts are of no use, as the Iron Scorpion blocks him with ease. The recoil from the strike is quite high, so our hero admits this is a tough one. Its shell feels exactly like solid iron, but there is no time to waste. So Lydia launches her earth spears at it. The Iron Scorpion blocks them, but this was just a distraction, so that Nenah could get her opening. She runs like the Flash and jumps on top of the Iron Scorpion, telling Alex he can leave this to her. Our hero has no idea what she's going to do, but Nenah puts all her energy into one strike. She lands a direct hit onto the scorpion with her pickaxe, and it's a solid blow. More importantly, the dwarf girl has been able to create a small crack in the Iron Scorpion's armor. She then tells Alex that he can aim for the wound, which is a great idea. Our hero gets right to it as he unleashes his Holy Cross attack, which is fired at full strength. He makes sure to land the attack right on the scorpion's wound, which maximizes the damage caused. After the dust settles, we can see that the monster has been defeated, but Alex admits it was a tough one. He is surprised that Nenah was able to actually make a crack in its armor, but she says that she had tried to use her mining skill on it. After all, its shell had felt just like iron, so it was well worth the risk. Alex is actually surprised, because he did not think that Nenah could use her skill on actual living things. She says that as long as the purity is high enough, her skills seem to work. That's a good thing. And to further this, Nenah decides to test out another theory regarding her mining skills. She uses them again on the body of the Iron Scorpion, and soon enough we can see that she is able to turn its parts into actual slabs of iron. Both Alex and Lydia are impressed by this, but that's not the end of it. Nenah asks Alex to touch the walls, and he can sense it immediately. He takes a look at his hands and can see that there is some clay on his fingers. That's when an idea strikes him, and he uses his big brain energy. If he and his girls can harvest the clay here, then they can actually build a kiln and start their own pottery. This means that they will also be able to make their own plates and cups. In essence, this cave is a true treasure trove of raw materials. How is our hero going to make use of all the new materials at his disposal? Are there other monsters even stronger than the Iron Scorpion waiting ahead for him and his harem? What is the end goal here? There are tons of questions that need to be answered. But unfortunately, we have to end the video now, as there are no more chapters left to cover as of the time I am writing this script. Like, share, and subscribe if you like the new hero Alex on Comic Guzzlers. Who is your favorite babe? Is it Lydia, Nenah, or Ellie? This is a relatively new series, which has nothing translated left, so I can do the work and cover more chapters for you if you show this video some love. Okay then, I'll see you in the next one.